Hey y'all, I've never streamed or recorded myself really coding and stuff before with AI, but a lot of people are interested in what I'm doing, so I figure I'll just work and record this and you can see how I do stuff. So I'm using Cursor, which is a fork of VS Code, and I am using the Claude 3.5 Sonnet API. I've got my Anthropic API key in here, although I guess I'm not using it because I think I am paying for Cursor Pro, which includes, some of these features already. I am using Composer, which is this thing here, which I'll show you in a second. But this is something that you have to turn on in features to be able to use. And I guess I have this enabled. Cool. So what am I doing? I am trying to build a kind of family tree UI here. This isn't for production. This is for me to clarify requirements for my engineering team. So rather than trying to use Figma or a prototyping tool, I actually found it's way faster to be able to build interactive prototypes by just telling this what I want and then having it code it. I am using the not local storage, what am I calling it? I'm using a plugin, where is it, called Local Preview? Live Preview, yeah. Live Preview, all it does is it lets you kind of have a mini browser over here and kind of spins up this. It's like a really, really simple browser. So I don't know if it'll handle complex stuff, but for simple HTML pages, it's fine. And then what I do is I just kind of have this mockups thing where I mock up different things and then I can preview it here. So what am I doing here? I want to build a little family tree where you can click people, you can see events that happen with them, and then you can edit those events and stuff like that. And so how did this come to be? I am using the Composer window, so I hit Command I in Cursor, and then let's reject that for now. I'll show you that in a second. So I started by saying first I was like, I actually said, first, let's just make this edit thing. So first I'm like, let's just make a little edit form. This was just a modal. I'm like, okay, let's have that be a sidebar. And then I just kept adding more instructions. I was like, okay, let's try adding a family tree. And then it's like, okay, I'll use D3JS. I'm like, oh, format it this way, mess with the spacing. And I just kept giving it instructions. And it would iterate this, and I'm like, okay, make it show who's highlighted. And anyway, I just kind of really just kept giving it feedback. So you'll see how I do that and how I iterate. But I start with something really simple. I don't start with a big picture. I don't say do a bunch of stuff. I literally said start with this simple form. I got the form out. I'm like, put the icons over here. I even said, hey, put some drop shadow on these things. Just tell it what you want, and then I scale up from there. So where am I at now? Also, I like telling it, because I'm generally building kind of data-driven applications, I like telling it to separate the data from the code. So I'll say, hey, use like JSON to describe the data. And I do this in a way that sort of mirrors our API structure or our database structure in a way. So that way when I give this code to my engineers, it's familiar. They're like, oh yeah, this is kind of like what we get back from the API, and then they can code that into the actual application. In our case, we're using Next.js on the front end, Nest.js on the back. But this is just a prototype. But I think it's helpful to have the same kind of similar data structure, right? In reality, we'd have IDs and stuff, but I think this is good enough. So what am I doing now? What do I want to do here? I'm trying to get this kind of event stream to display for a person. So this is showing a person, their gender, and then there's these events, which we can see in the JSON here. This is for how we start. So I kind of want to have this scale so people could have multiple. I kind of want to improve this. So I was thinking, what if I move this date out and then had this like up here, make room, so it says like marriage to Pepper Potts over here. This is the Tony Stark tree. So I'm going to open Composer, which is just Command I once you have it enabled, and what I said, yeah, I was like, hey, for the events view, can we try putting the date outside of the card to have it less crowded, blah, blah. And it did this, so it didn't look great. And so I'm going to say, okay, let's fix that. And I'm also using Superwhisper, which is a voice-to-text app that runs locally. You can use cloud models as well. So I'll use that to just verbally give instructions and show you how I do this. So the date is showing directly to the left of the card, which is squishing the card and making the width inconsistent. Instead, put it a line or a row above the card so that the card can continue to take up the full width. So I just did that text to speech. That should pipe in here. I'm going to hit enter. And then we're going to see Composer start working on doing that. So it says it's generating. You can see in real time, kind of hear what it's thinking if you want. I usually don't really pay attention until it just does its work. This is a live preview thing, so this might be flashing and doing some funky stuff as the updates are happening. It'll look really usually messed up in the middle of it. Actually, it kind of looks okay now. But I kind of wait until it finishes, and then we can see how it does. All right, not bad. I don't actually know if I like that more, but it did a decent job there. Why don't we try making that a little bit nicer? So, let's indent the card a little bit under the date, and also the alignment on, for example, the marriage to Pepper Potts. The Pepper Potts pill seems a little bit higher than the other text, and there's like an extra space between marriage and to. See if we can fix that formatting. So you can see I've just got my keyboard shortcuts that I use to do this voice to text. And let's see how it goes. But yeah, I find this to be faster than actually using design tools, whether I have a designer or I'm doing it myself in even like a simpler tool. All right, let's see how it did. Hey, not bad. It looks like it fixed that. I don't know if I love this format. It's not bad. Can we make, instead of having the events text and then the list of events, can we make events like a tab? Because, yeah, let's try experimenting with making events a tab where it shows this list of events, and then add another tab for documents and another tab for tasks. Those can be blank for now, but let's at least show them and have this view default to the events tab selected. The tab should have, the active tab should be bold and have a line under it to show that that's the active tab. All right. So again, I'm doing all this not for production, but to clarify requirements, effectively UI, UX, and functional requirements for my developer. So I can, what I'll usually do is I'll just do a little GIF screen recording of this once I'm happy with the functionality. And that's just a really easy way to clarify requirements. And the value here is in the iteration. It's in because I don't know exactly what I want, right? I have an idea. This really helps me refine it, and I can try different things without having to ask someone to do all that work. Not too bad, huh? The parents thing are kind of in the way here, so let's try this. I really like how we have the marriage to and then the person. Since birth is going to be to parents, can we update the display of the birth event so it says born to and then shows the parents there? and then we don't have to show the parents at the top. The parents can just be listed in the birth event in the events table or events card. As you can tell, I love my keyboard shortcuts. And while it's doing that, if you're curious, yeah, I'm using Superwhisper for this, and I'm using the Ultra model. So this runs locally, and I find the performance to be great. I am using a MacBook M3 that's kind of spec'd out, so it handles this pretty well. I had a MacBook M1 before, and I was using like the Pro or standard model. But you can also always use the one of the cloud models, like I think Nova 2 is the one they use. So yeah, I use Ultra now because it runs locally well, but you can use different models depending on your compute power. All right, let's see how it did. That's cleaner. I like that these things are here. I don't know, that could get a little long, especially if they have long names. For both birth and marriage, well, really any event where we have pills for other people, let's go back to just having the event type on the first line, so like birth or marriage, and then on the second line, let's show the people. So for parents, you can say born to, and then the parents. Actually, no. Let's just show for birth. Let's just show parents, and then like I guess parents colon and then list them. And for marriage, just show married to, and then the person. Let's try that. And then the last row will still show the location. As you can tell, these AIs, I mean, obviously the voice to text is just voice to text. It's not really using an LLM. I guess it's using a voice model, obviously, but it's not doing like language processing. It's just putting in whatever I say. But then this is used, so this is offline because this is voice to text. But then I'm using Claude for development. So it's pretty forgiving, like a lot of LLMs are. Like if I say, hey, let's do this, actually no, it gets it, kind of like a person would. So I just use natural conversation. You wouldn't type it out like this usually, but when you talk like I do anyway, it does that. So it seems to work. I'm not a fan of this. Come on, what's another way to do this? I don't really know which one I want. I like the idea of having the parents down here. Maybe we just kind of define the top. Okay, let's do this. Instead of saying birth and marriage, like the event type in the first row, let's say gosh, I don't really know what to do here. I know we want the parents in there. I can probably stop this because this isn't this isn't working. Wow, I could see how streaming might be helpful here. I guess if I was actually, I'm recording this right now to try my first YouTube upload to see if this is useful for people. Some friends recommend that I do some YouTube uploads because I was kind of doing this on Instagram and it was resonating with a very small percent of my, I guess, friends. Okay. Gosh, what do I do here? Because if this was like streaming, you guys could just tell me in the comments what ideas you have. All right, fine. Let's try something. Okay, for the birth events, if we have parents for the person, show, instead of saying birth, show born to in the top line, and then just show the parent tags underneath. No need to specify parents. And for a marriage, if we have the person that the person is married to, then just say, for the title, just say married to, and then show the person name under that. If we do not have parents' information, just show born, I guess. And if we don't have the person that the person is married to, just say married without married to. Let's try that. All right, let's see how this turns out. This feels like it takes a lot of time. I mean, especially probably because I'm recording myself. But I think it's way faster than prototyping. Like if you were to use like a Figma, or I mean, I'm more of a product guy, so Figma is way too pixel perfect. Not good for my ADHD because I'll get into shading and getting all the pixels right. I like having constraints when I design, just so I can focus on the inputs, outputs, and functionality and not get distracted by all the design elements and all the things you can do with different rounded corners and stuff. Before this, I guess I'll just show this to you real quick. Before this, what I was doing is I was actually using Obsidian, which I'm a huge fan, with the Excalidra plugin to prototype, because it's really fast, right? I can just be like, okay, press 2 for a rectangle, and you see or you can even do like L for line or 6 for line. Like it's really easy to prototype stuff. You can do option whatever to make copies. So it's like a really simple prototyping tool, but I like how constrained it is. Like you have some options, and you can even do quick dark mode, light mode, which I love. But yeah, so this is helpful for really quick prototyping. Of course, it works offline, which is great. So if you do want to do visual prototyping, I'm a fan of just Excalidra in Obsidian if you like. But now I find it even faster just to use an AI like Claude and something like Compose. So, all right, let's see what happened here. I like it. This is looking pretty sweet. I am happy with this. I'm going to do it a git commit. What do we do here? Updated events view. Why not do, what happened? Did that work? Oh, I still somehow don't always know when to use git add. What's going on here? Did it work? Come on, I can do git commits, right? I'm just going to get push while I'm at it. No, come on. Why did that? Okay. We have to, so this is kind of previewing C, but it hasn't actually saved it yet. So once we have a conversation, there's a lot of back and forth here, but it didn't actually save the file. So let's hit accept all. Now, okay, now we can see it's there. Now we should be able to get, I don't think I have to do git add, right? Git commit, what do you call it? All right, let me just, sweet. Come on, what's going on? Okay, I do have to do git add. All right, you can tell I'm a noob. All right, git push. Yes, okay. So I will probably give my, this is freaking sweet. I am a big fan of this. Anyway, later I'll get to the edit, because right now the edit mode, and it very well could have broken. So that'll probably be a different video, but should I risk it? Let's see what happens. Okay, it doesn't look like it broke, but it's just, it doesn't let you edit other events, just the date of birth. So I guess maybe I'll pause and come back and keep going, maybe? I don't know. What do people like on YouTube? Maybe I'll keep this short for now, keep it under 20 minutes. So anyway, also I got to fix that because it doesn't refresh right away. But this is how I kind of do prototyping with AI. Let me know what you think.